Everybody, now I'm going to continue telling you about we had just moved to the Florida Keys, and that very first year or so was really an exciting time just because it's a change. And that's when I was reintroduced to my cousins. I already met them before they left, so we all ended up down there. I think my dad, his other three brothers are already down there. Now Vanessa, I kind of considered her kind of being my best friend growing up. And then there's me and my cousin Steven. We're also very close friends. And, you know, like I was saying in my last video, we were coming down through Tennessee when I saw that duck pond. And I really wanted ducks. I was a little bit disappointed in these ducks, though. I mean, they had this red stuff on their face. And instead of quacking, they would go... That's Hannibal's sound, the white duck. The black and white one, I named her Rainbow because her black portion is iridescent. And she made more of a, so now that I'm older, I've owned a goose. I've owned geese. I like to call those the Muscovy goose duck. Anyways, that's me and my cousin Steven sitting under my trampoline. Now, I mentioned in my last video that was one of my best presents growing up, was that trampoline, and that's when I wanted to be a superhero. Now, as you see, I really like that cute outfit I got around the time we were up in Michigan, and I went to my mom's place, to my mom's concert. And then, of course, we've discovered the ocean. A big part of living in the Florida Keys is the time spent at the ocean. So that's Boca Chica Road. So I'm about 6 years old there. And then that's my grandma's canal. So when I was learning to swim, I had to wear these, what you call flugos. I was absolutely terrified of the water. And I learned to swim at my grandma's house. And then if you live in Key West long enough, people born of Key West, they're called a Key West conch. However, if you live there for at least 7 years, then you become an honorary conch. Or a freshwater conch is what you might say that I am. And that first Christmas there was such a good time. You betcha. Now, my dad was a big Joy Division fan. Remember I was talking about it in Port Huron. We listened to them a lot. So, and of course, Joy Division New Order became one of my favorite bands. My dad was a pot grower. I used to love to get up in the morning and go outside and, you know, put some fresh water for the animals, get the dogs and the ducks fed, and water the pot plants. Yeah, I've always loved the smell of marijuana. We always had good times with the smell of marijuana in the air. Now, coming down to the Florida Keys, wow, you know, what a big change, you know, from Michigan to the Florida Keys, you know. And, yeah, so I was already in kindergarten, and then I had to get enrolled in the Sugarloaf Elementary School, so... So it's like I was the perpetual new kid, you know, and like I was saying, it seems like I've always been sort of a different person, and so I didn't make friends very easily. So my sister made friends with some people that had little Bible studies, so we went up there to Bible study, and that's what I was talking about in some of my previous videos. This was a really big year for me moving to the Florida Keys. It was really fun and everything. I remember my Grandma Weaver, my Aunt Charlene, and her kids came down, and we showed them around. We went to Mallory Square and everything and got the whole tourist thing going. So, you know, really got a good taste of Key West living there. So that was, like, exciting coming to this place. And but at the same time, I was really struggling because I didn't have very many friends, you know. And so I have a couple of videos in my playlist, like Friends of Jesus and Billy. That's when this stuff started to unfold. And so I had a concept of religion by then, so that's why that makes sense. And then, it's funny, first I met these guys, they looked like they were from the Bible in the Visionary State, and then the next person I met would have been Billy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that since we're talking about my first year in Key West in kindergarten class. I talked a little bit about Billy, and I want to refer you to those, so I drew a quick little picture. So there's lots of videos about this character. I was in Visionary State when I was introduced to this person by Rosie Clearlight. So that's Rosie Clearlight there. So early in '82, I thought my mom and dad knew these people named Rosie and Howard. So Howard would have been, if you go to the Tassajara, it's a Buddhist monastery near Berkeley, you would find Howard's name on the plaque there. So it's kind of exciting that, you know, I was first introduced to Howard and Rosie in the Visionary State. And then Rosie, I would say, would be more my spiritual teacher or counselor later on in life when I came here to Montana. So that's where that came full circle. And then they were taking care of Billy, who they claimed to be was Bill Lebo Fraulein Assembly. So it's really a weird part of my life where I had this visionary experience beginning to happen. And so later on, I did eventually meet Bill Lieb, as you see there. First met him in 1996, and I also first met Rosie in 1996. Only difference is Rosie became a very close friend, my best friend, and Billy has been nothing more than an acquaintance. Like, he knows who I am because I've written to him and stuff. And who knows, maybe he'll even get to see this video. So yeah, so anyways, it's a very interesting time moving to the Florida Keys. Now we know the Florida Keys are really close to the Bermuda Triangle, and it also has a naval base. So who knows if the naval base has had some unusual experiments go awry and spill over into my reality. I'm just joking. But yeah, I really love thinking about that very first time in Key West and some of the ongoings there. And I would like to do a video going over my playlist, kind of like I did for Port Huron. So I'll talk a little bit about the music that I loved growing up and how that ties in. And then we'll move on to some other things. Anyways, yeah, it's really fun thinking about this stuff. And I really always goes to show you, my dad was a big Joy Division fan. See that? He's got that 45. He had 45s, and he managed to get his entire album collection. So DJ Jazzy Dad, you guys. And so first year in Key West was very heavy. I think my mom worked at the gas station at the end of the street for a while then. And then she got the job at the bar at the end of the street. So I spent a lot of time going up to the bar to hang out with my mom, you know, like especially during summer break. And my dad would be working at like hotel jobs and stuff. So my parents were kind of working for minimum wage, but they were keeping it together, you know. And some of my best memories living at that house was having that trampoline and listening to my dad's music from outside, and having those ducks, having my own duckies. And at my grandparents' house, they had big green parrots. They each had their own parrot. And all those birds, you know, so at an early age, I knew that I really had a thing for birds, you know, that's my animal. And as I'd mentioned, I'd even ended up in a Kung Fu school where it seemed like they specialize in the bird. So, yeah, so I made a lot of videos about me and my goose, so you can kind of see where some of this gets started. And if I had the chance, I would love to go in there and handle those big eagles and stuff, because I got some experience starting with my grandparents and their parrots. They taught me a lot about animal handling. I wasn't allowed to touch those birds until I was like well into my teens, you know, so absolutely a fun part of my life, you guys. Hang on, I'll tell you more. You take care. Bye-bye for now.